welcome to the Trinity Force Podcast. Yo, it's that Triforce cast beaming straight to your home. Grab a beer so we know Pony drinking alone. Send an email, a quick tweet, just pick up the phone. Leave a message at the beep if you're a creep, watch your tone. Discuss the meta game, patch notes, whatever helps your stats most. Obi-Wan Kenobi is your last hope to snatch gold. So grab your headphones and join in the fun. We'll try enforcing some jokes and some cringeworthy puns. Yo, we can make it together, people. Trinity Force Podcast. These boys are second to none. Now that's the end of the intro. It's time we begun.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 773 of the Trinity Force Podcast. I'm your host, N.A. Eric, and tonight I got three of my favorite friends here. We have Sean.
Hello, hello.
That's Sean in the bottom left there. And up in the top left and on my screen, we have Kaib. Kaib, how you doing?
Hello.
And we have John, not to be confused with Sean. Their names are similar, but not the same.
Yo.
And tonight we have patch 12.13, or patch 12.13, if you want to say it that way. But, yeah, before we get into that stuff, guys, how you doing? John, this is your second time on. We're glad to have you back, man. How you been? How's your week been? Just like a whole lot better since you're now a member of the Trinity Force Podcast, right? People just recognize you in the streets. You get free lattes if you get lattes, you know, that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah, life's become very easy. Yeah. I just walk down the street, free coffee, free everything. I get free chauffeurs, free Ubers.
Exactly. It's part of the package that comes from being a host. Yeah, we just haven't given Kaib his yet. He still has to prove himself. Yeah. Okay. Good week so far, John. Like, you know, good league's been going decent so far. Have you been doing ranked? You just been playing ARAMs? What you been up to?
Yeah, I for July 4th, I was at the lake and everything, and actually got like sunburnt, so I'm still recovering from that a little bit. But I've been playing a little bit. I've been playing normals with some of my friends. One of my buddies started playing like 3 weeks ago, so we're trying to just teach him, and I'm playing with him on one of my other accounts. But yeah, I mean, that's just been fun. Also trying like the new stuff has been a lot of fun for sure. I'm excited about the new patch, and I'll definitely start trying to get back into good form so I can grind some ranked again.
Nice. Yeah, that must have been one hell of a sunburn if you're still recovering, because July 4th weekend has been over. We're recording on the 13th today, so over a week.
Yeah, Yeah, it's on the tail end of it, so it's...
Yeah, you should send shirtless pics. Not.
Yeah, it's only on the OnlyFans.
Yo, chill.
I have an aloe plant on my porch. If you need, I could break off some of the aloe and send it to you.
I've been doing that daily. I've been doing the whole anti-sunburn routine daily. So, but yeah, I mean, it's on the tail end, thankfully, but it's always no fun. I mean, it was also just unfortunate because I put on sunscreen like 3 times, but I mean, I was in and out of the water, so it just wasn't enough.
That'll do it for you. Yeah, I felt my shoulders got a little bit burned that weekend. I was feeling like, oh, my arms are starting to burn, so I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna put my shirt on because I don't care. Like I don't tan that well. I kind of look like a lobster, so I was like, I don't really know if it was. I didn't want to be in pain that night.
Yeah.
I've had some painful burns in the past and didn't want to feel it, but cool. Glad you're starting to feel better.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. Kaib, how you doing, man? This is a new background for you. Did you move or something?
Yeah. That's what happens when your entire life is uprooted and thrown for a change you weren't expecting. Fuck me, am I right? Now that we're done being morbid, what was the question?
How are you doing?
We're all right. One of the competitive teams that I'm on for the Victorious League. It's a draft league. I don't know if I've mentioned that one here, but there's essentially tryouts or exhibitions at the beginning of the season. All the captains have a draft, pick their teams fresh every split. And my team, we had our quarterfinals for playoffs on Monday. and we won that.
Nice.
But it was super stressful because we had to play with a sub, and
What position was the
it-
sub playing in?
so the sub played top lane because we couldn't for the life of us find a correctly ranked AD carry. So our probable MVP had to go play AD carry for us, and he's not an AD carry at all, but he was just the best player on the team.
Sure.
So he played AD carry and the sub played top. First game was rough, and we lost, and then game 2 was pretty much like a Team Liquid slow burn,
Sure.
like never out of control, just slowly choked him out. And then game 3, the top sub played Trundle, and at like 20 minutes we had 7 towers, and Trundle had taken 7 towers.
Oh my
So
god.
Good lord.
he was very unkillable at that point.
Good god. What was the
Yeah.
lane matchup? What did he lane into?
What was it?
Was it Sejuani? Because that's a horrible matchup for Sejuani.
I don't have my league client open, so I can't tell you right now. What was it? I don't know. I'll pull it up while I'm talking. But
Sure.
it the shitty part about having used a sub is because our AD carry that was on the team, apparently he has a second account that is ranked higher than the one that he registered for the league,
Oh, damn.
and he never told anybody, so they kicked him like right at match time. So we had to find a sub last second. Couldn't really find one. So yeah. Apart from that, I hate jungle and solo queue. Like as soon as I finish playing these competitive games, I go play solo queue, and it's just a completely different world.
Yeah.
So it's really annoying. So yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll be the next Sean and change my position again. The matchup was Trundle into Pantheon, and the
Oh,
guy
okay.
who was playing Pantheon is like a Pantheon one trick, so it was really funny to see him get his ass beat.
I feel like that would be I don't know. I haven't seen Pantheon in forever. Although today in LCK, Carrier played Pantheon into Pike, which was pretty interesting to see. They didn't end up winning that game, but Pantheon was not the problem.
So I just sent you guys an image in the server, so you'll be able to see.
Oh my.
Trundle's damage to turrets was 26,589. The next person in the game had 2,211.
That's absurd. We're just
So
we're just looking at like, okay, here. I'll pop this graph. I'll pop this image out and pull it onto my screen.
He's fun.
Open link, sure. There we go. So
and Eric, to make
we're
you
talking about
proud,
this right here. This was that turret damage there that he's looking at. It's on the screen right now so the viewers can see. That's absolutely absurd. Good God. And I saw the Lilia
to make
there.
you
Nice.
proud. Yeah. So the jungler on the other team is an outstanding Lilia player, like way better than me by far.
Sure.
But we started off blue side, and we just picked it away from him, and I just played it every single game so that he couldn't have it. So we handshaked Lilia Diana, so it ended up going in our favor. But yeah, so we have semifinals this upcoming Monday against what is the other best team in the league. So it'll be a coin flip.
Nice.
Shout out Defoe, you're going down.
All right. Well, good luck. Be a good sport. Represent us proudly.
We love the astronauts. He's the owner of the other team that I play on Friday nights. To the moon. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh.
Cool. Sean, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing alright right now. I don't know. I'm coming off like Hell Week right now. I having a bunch of car problems lately. Transmission on my car basically just completely fried. There's like some piece in there that my dad thinks he might be able to fix, but like our remanned one is like $300, and like just like a used transmission for my car is like 600. So it's like you might as well just get a new transmission if you're just gonna have to do all the work and pull it out and everything.
Yeah.
And so that was like 2 weeks ago. And then my dad has an old truck he was letting me use to drive to work. And then that shit out on me while I was driving to work. Had some sort of electrical problem, and the car just completely stopped accelerating. So I basically just pulled over the side of the road and
Sounds like the
got a
common
ride home from home.
denominator is you.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on, man, but like, if you know anything about the Midwest, like, there's not much for like public transportation unless you're in like a big city. Like,
Yeah.
for Green Bay, like, there's like Green Bay, Milwaukee, and Madison all have like okay public transportation, but for the main part, you really need a car to get around in the Midwest. So like,
Yeah.
I was kind of screwed, so I ended up buying another used car here now, and that's been going all right. But
What kind
yeah,
of car did you get for the used car?
it is a Volkswagen Jetta.
Ooh, I have one of
Which-
those. I have a Volkswagen Jetta. What
Yeah.
year is it?
It's a 2007.
Oh, that's
It's
older than mine, but okay.
It's leaking a little bit of oil, but like for people that drive used cars, like that's one of the most common things, and there are
Yeah.
like a billion parts that can leak oil in a car, so it's not that bad.
Yeah, so you
But
just get
other
you
than
just get
that,
a
it's
you just
super
fill up with
nice.
oil every like once a month or once every couple of weeks. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I mean, pretty much every car I've owned has leaked oil, so I'm not too worried about that. But other than that, it's like the nicest car I've ever owned.
Volkswagen
And for,
Jetta's
like-
#1.
Yeah. But
Sorry, go
yeah,
on.
for whatever reason, the car market around is like terrible right now, or at least the used car market. And my guess and most other people's guesses is that like in the Midwest, most, like I'd say like 70% of people drive either like an SUV or a truck with 4-wheel drive for the winter. And when gas prices went up super high, like a lot of these people that own like new trucks, they probably have like a couple extra grand in the bank to go and blow on like a used car. So if like the difference in filling up your tank is going to be like 70-80 bucks, though, that new car will pay off itself pretty quickly, which like luckily gas prices are coming down now. But yeah, that's my guess to where all the used cars are going, because like the market was like awful, and I was super lucky to get the car I got. Like the dude said he had like 15 other people messaging him,
Jesus.
and I was just kind of lucky enough to be the first guy to show up. So
There's been
kind of
used
lucked out.
There's
there.
been used car issues since the beginning of the pandemic, because then all the supply lines shut down, so then there were no more new cars were struggling to come in. Like if you go try and buy a new car from a dealership right now, they're telling you there's like a multiple month wait, even if it's like a pretty common car. So then everyone swapped to buying used cars. So that's why it's just like there's just not a lot of cars out there. That's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I've heard the same thing, but I'm in the boat that I don't think I've ever even like owned a car that's like within like the past 10 years. So I've
Sure.
always had kind of old clunkers, but for the most part, I don't. That's been most of my week.
Mm.
I played a little bit of League. There was like, I think like right after the transmission on my car went out, I like came home and I was like feeling like shit. And I was like, fuck it, I'll send some ranked, like whatever.
That's like the
I
worst
remember-
time to play ranked.
Was that when you messaged me?
Yeah, that's the day I messaged you, because I remember first game, I was trying to play mid, and like first game I had an 0-9-0 Darius in a 25-minute game, 0 kill participation, died 9 times.
You guys want to hear the message transcript? I've got it pulled up.
You can read it.
Holy
Pretty sure I
shit,
just say,
ranked
like,
sucks ass. LMAO. Oh, what the fuck? First game, 090 Darius top. Second game, Yasuo top feeds 3 kills in like 5 minutes than AFKs. Love that for you, Sean.
Yeah, and then the next game I had a like 1 in 12k in jungle. It just, I don't, for whatever reason, dude. Like whenever
didn't know
play
we
mid,
played
it
together.
feels like what? It feels like I get worse like teammates when I play mid. I don't know if I'm just crazy or I'm getting unlucky or what, but or maybe it just feels like it because I had that couple of string of bad games. But like, I swear to God, every time I play mid, I get like the worst teammates, and I play like jungle or something, and my teammates are completely fine. So I don't know if that's actually a thing where like the game wants you to carry harder if you're gonna play mid, but I mean, it
I have
probably
the
isn't.
opposite experience.
Yeah.
I play jungle and just get. I mean, I'm not gonna say what I wanted to say, but I get specimens
He gets people
when I
that are
play
not as
jungle.
good as he wished that they would be, or are not playing up to their full potential.
Correct. Yes, very, very good descriptor. And then when I play mid, my jungler just carries the game, and I'm like, wow, I guess I'm the problem.
Well, the thing is, when you're playing mid and the jungle is doing that, usually that's because the mid laner is enabling the jungle to do more of what they want. That's a
You're right.
big
You're right.
difference.
You're right. See, it's just I enable my teammates when I play mid, and when I play jungle, they don't enable me. It's crazy.
Yeah. You're an enabler in the good sense, not in the bad sense.
That's like
Hey,
one of my favorite
those
things to
3
do.
Lilia games, I was enabling the fuck out of our Yon Yasuo. Let me tell ya, they were getting some big old sleepy time ults.
Nice. Nice. Well, my week's been good. On Sunday, I did my mud run 10K, which was awesome. It was like, so I showed up and it was like, I'll post a couple pictures in the Discord. But I showed up and like I was like seeing all these people that were like a lot more ripped than I am, or they just looked like they were in better shape. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't think that there would be this many people in that good shape. Okay, fine. So then I trudge over to where the starting area is for like I did like a 10:45 a.m. heat start. It was like 10:30, but then they went through like a big long legal thing, and then we did the Pledge of Allegiance for some reason, or no, the national anthem, and then it was weird. And then they ended up letting us go like 10 minutes later, so it was like 10:40. But then like, okay, the first like 2 miles or so, um, most people were keeping up and the obstacles were fine. They were keeping up through it and getting through. And then like after like mile 2 hit, there was a steep drop off of people being like, okay, I don't want to run this anymore. Um, and then they stopped running a decent amount. And then I was like, okay, I'm still gonna like run. And so uh, I was surprised that a lot of people looked like they were in better shape than they actually were, which is what I saw there. And then there were a lot of obstacles that like most people didn't finish. Like I finished every single one except for one of them, which was basically there was this like a pergola or a gazebo type thing, and and you'd have to run through it, and down from above were like picture like yellow twine or thread, and it was all electrified, so you'd be getting shocked as you ran through. I was like, nope, I don't want to learn that I have a heart condition by my heart stopping or something. Nope, I'm good. I'm just gonna run around it real quick, and that's what I did there. But that one, and then there was one other one that I couldn't do because I didn't have any. My shoes are really old and stuff because I didn't want to like ruin nice shoes, and they didn't have any grip on them, and I could not get any grip on the other one. So, but I did the other 11 or so, and I was still. I ran the whole 6 miles, did all the other obstacles that I was able to. It was fantastic. I'd highly recommend, if anyone hasn't tried it and wants to try it, please go out and do it. Like do a mud run or a terrain race, or a Spartan race, or whatever they call it. There's several different places that do them. They happen all across the country pretty often. Go ahead and try them out. They're really fun. But yeah, other than that, letting my body recover, and just been playing some League for sure. I didn't play any ranked in the last few days, or maybe I did. I might have played some on Monday. I don't remember. But just been playing norms and stuff. I'm super excited for the Fiddlesticks buffs because they're not needed, and he's already very good if you know what you're doing, and it's going to be nuts. But yeah, so I'm excited about all that. Yep. Cool. So, boys, let's get down to business. We have a couple answers for the previous question of the week to go through, and we got a new question of the week to pose as well. So, previous question of the week was, how much weight do you put on your solo queue rank? And we've already read through a couple answers, but we got a couple more since the last time we were on. So, one person said, the weight of my firstborn child, aka none at all. I play till gold for the free stuff, and champ pool is a snooze fest, and then like to play for pretty champions and pretty skins. I like that. Respect. I like that analogy too. That was pretty funny. And then we got one more answer. For the last couple seasons, I've just gotten to gold and stopped playing ranked. This season, I'm pretty comfortable in gold games, but having fun continuing to push to try and get higher. Not worried about losing the rewards, so just been having fun and just seeing how far that I can go in a competitive environment. That's a really healthy attitude to have about it. Sean, you should look at ranked like that. Just try and have fun to see how far you can go in a competitive environment. Rank doesn't suck.
I don't know. My experience, it usually does. So I'd say that's the general consensus from the community right now, because most people don't like playing ranked. I think even like Faker came out and said if he wasn't
Yeah.
a pro player, he wouldn't play ranked. I will say, like, lately I've been playing a little bit more Valorant, and I think like the easiest thing Riot could do to make ranked more interesting is just add voice chat, because like honestly, like I've probably played like 30, 40 games of Valorant now, and like I've had like one bad experience with voice chat. For the most part, it's like either people like taking the game seriously, or it's like a good experience and people are like being goofy and it's funny and it just adds to the experience. And there was one dude that was like hurling slurs and like whatever, and you just report him and mute him, man. I don't know. Like other than that, like I've had very little problems, and I remember we argued about this a bit for like the New Year's episode or whatever,
Yeah.
and like I know Chaz is like really worried about like toxicity, but for the most part, it's
It's
been
not a problem.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
I also don't think that the same type of person plays Valorant that plays League.
What
Like,
do
yeah, you'll have some crossover, but I think that the League community is a lot more toxic than the shooters community. Coming from both. Like FPS games are not anywhere near as toxic as I've seen in League. Overwatch is the closest I've ever seen, and it's not even close.
I don't know, John. What do you think, man?
I feel like I don't know. I feel like League's pretty notorious for that. Like in my experience, I mean, because of stuff like that, like when I'm playing like ranked, for example, like I mute all and I'll only have like pings on, and then
Okay.
I mean, if it's if it gets like bad enough, I'll just mute the pings as well. I like just playing my game, not at least when I'm playing jungle. Just playing my game and not having too much outside influence from teammates. Because I felt like that was an issue I had in the past, was listening to every play a teammate wants to do, when it's not always the best thing to do.
Sure. That makes sense.
But
It's interesting that you play the most social role and try to be as unsociable as possible there. That's interesting.
I mean, I feel like I mean, they'll still be able to see my pings, right? Like, I don't know, in solo queue, I feel like sometimes, like, when you can like, you have someone you can play around, like you don't even have to say anything, like if the wave state is good, you're set up for a gank, you're doing one more camp, and then the wave will be in a good spot for you to gank.
Yeah.
And the enemy is probably going to engage on them and use some stuff. Like, there's kind of like an unspoken language there, I guess, is kind of what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
So it's like, I'll ping like I'm on the way, and I'll do it like in advance. But there's kind of like an unspoken language of this is like prime time, and like I'll tell them I'm on the way, and we're ready to make the play.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. A lot of times you don't need to be typing, or even voice comms wouldn't help that much for sure. There would be times when it would, but yeah, you don't.
Yeah, there's definitely
You don't necessarily need to. I get what you're saying. Yeah. Okay.
The other thing though is like the pings are definitely nice, because then like for keeping track of summoners and whatnot, because that can be important too, because that's like a big thing I've found that's can be abused, at least in solo queue, is like if someone blows flash, and I mean you can abuse that big time, and I mean I feel like that's one thing that people don't do enough. Is just punishing people for stuff like that, like small stuff like that, because it makes a big difference.
Yeah, I know. I certainly don't do that enough. I track them, but I don't necessarily punish as much as I should or could. Yeah. Well, cool. So back to that question of the week stuff. Not that tangents aren't great, but we have a new question of the week. What is your favorite ARAM champion? So, John, you came up with this one. What's your favorite ARAM champ to play?
Honestly, I love, and I think it's hilarious because we talked about it. Previous episode was my most played champ was Yasuo. I really like playing Yasuo in ARAM. I mean, he's a ton of fun. I would say either him or Nidalee are my favorites. Um, Especially like when you have Yasuo on your team, like gives you some nice setup. You can get some fat ults. It's a ton of fun.
Sure, totally. Kaib, what about you?
I like Ezreal and Brand.
Solid choices. Sean?
I don't have one offhand. I hate ARAM so much. Like, just whatever. I don't care really when I play ARAMs.
Okay. Mine is number 1 is Zoe. I love Zoe so much in ARAM. And then after that, I'd say pre-durability update, Kiana. I don't know anymore. I think Nautilus now for just full health Nautilus build. It's hilarious just hitting people with your anchor and having like 6,000 health and they just can't chew through you, even if you don't have that much resistances. Like it's a fun time. Yeah, cool.
John
Steve.
likes
Thresh,
Teemo.
Dude, I was so bored that game. Like, I just like walked up and died like 4 times in a row. I was like, I'm just gonna make a wall of shrooms. Like, I don't care anymore.
I mean, it stopped them so many times. So we're talking about community night last night. And we played an ARAM game that lasted what, like 50 minutes? I think it ended with like that amount of time.
Yeah.
It was next level. But Sean was on Teemo, and then as he said, he just started setting up like walls of shrooms. It was pretty funny. To which Senna, who had Umbroglaive, would queue through them and kill like 4 of them at once.
Yeah, it wasn't great. I don't like understand. I understand they have to have the stupid sweeper thing for ARAM because like there's no other way to reveal invisible objects. But like Teemo is already not a good team fighting champion, and his ult is only AOE anyways. So like the fact that it just gets countered by a minion walking by, it feels so stupid to me.
Yeah.
He's got to be one of the worst ARAM champions, man.
I don't know. Let me see. What do we think his ARAM win rate is? Okay, Sean, give me what do you think it is? You said it's not good. What do you think?
49.
53.
I saw it last night. 53. I saw it last night. It's a new patch.
Okay, sure.
It's
So I'll go 12.12. 52.6. I'll go 12.11. Maybe that's the one you were looking at. 52.5. Maybe 12.10. 53.3. So maybe he's bad, but people are making it work. Maybe everyone else is just playing other shit worse then. I don't know.
I have no. It felt really bad. Maybe I was just not playing it right or whatever. But yeah, I was not really doing a great time. It was funny to watch. I don't think I've ever stacked that many shrooms where you bounce them off each other. You just keep bouncing in the exact same spot, and it just makes a big line eventually. But that was kind of funny. That was like the most enjoyment I got out of that game.
I'm just looking to see what all of our favorite champs were because Zoe is like the 4th worst ARAM champ apparently over the last 2 patches. She has a 42.3 win rate, which seems extremely crazy to me. But what there was?
What's Yasuo?
Yeah, let me look. I gotta keep changing it to ARAM. On this patch, it's not enough time, so I go back 1. 53.2, top 20.
Nice.
And Kaib's Brand is probably going to be very good. Back 1 patch, 53.3, top 16. Nice.
There you go.
There we go, indeed. So,
Thresh
okay.
is a good one too. I love Thresh.
Oh, I don't like playing. Well, if I play Thresh, I play full AP Thresh, so I can one-shot people with like a QER. It's not very good. But yeah, so okay, patch 12.13. So there's a bunch of really cool stuff. There's not a ton of, there's a decent amount of changes, but mostly buffs, a couple of adjustments, and some system changes. We have Neela coming out. We'll cover her in next week's episode. She just came out today, and I haven't played her nor played against her. I know some of you guys may not have even seen her yet either, so we'll cover her next week. But she is out on this patch. But so for adjustments now, we have Sivir getting an adjustment. So, John, you like Sivir, don't you? Why don't you just run
Oh
us
yeah.
through? Just run us through it. You don't need to read like every number, but just like what's the because there's a lot of shit in here. So what's the
Yeah.
overall direction?
Yeah, so I'll give you the basic rundown. Basically, like they're moving her more into like crit, her more traditional crit builds. Uh, they changed her boomerang, her Q. Um, the cast time on it scales down with attack speed now, and the damage scales with crit strike chance. So the more it basically incentivizes you to go crit. Um, and then with the W, the ricochet, they made it so it can bounce to like the same target up to 2 times. And it used to be that the attack speed you get on the W was tied to a passive on the ult, and now they just have the
Oh,
attack speed on the W, which is like a huge like quality of life. I feel like it's super nice for early farming. Because before early you wouldn't get that attack speed on the W till you got your ult at level 6. So that's super nice. The bounce is easier to hit in general. Also, um, the other big thing is the spell shield. Like it used to, if you block something with it, you would get mana back. Now they changed it where when you block a spell, it just heals you for a scaling amount off of her AD, and it has like scaling AP as well. Um, so I would say that's like the main thing. They changed some. They made her ult better, which is I'm looking at it. It's nice. Like, and I played her one time. Um, and basically like they just made it so her ult is scaling as far as like how long it lasts, its duration. It's they made it have a lower cooldown at all ranks her ult, and then when you're autoing during her ult now, you have it lowers her basic ability cooldowns by a little bit. So it's kind of like a Master E thing with this cube, but it's for all her abilities, which is super nice for like cleaning up team fights at the end and stuff like that. It seems like.
oh, absolutely. And then also I think one of the biggest things is as I'm reading it, when her ult is up, if there's a takedown that she helps in, it
Yeah.
refreshes. That's huge.
Yeah, that is really nice because it's almost like Ghost now. Because yeah, you can like that's true because you can during drag or something like that, or like at Baron or a team fight, if you just get a takedown, I mean, you can have your ult up. It's realistic that you could have your ult up that whole time.
Yeah. Yep. I wonder if this only does it for her or if it does it for everyone. I don't know how that's coded. That would be interesting to see though.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, but okay, cool. Thanks for running us through that. I know that she's
Yeah,
just
sure.
she's crit more and a bit more squishy, but one of the only nerfs this patch, we have our boy Corki. So just a couple of I thought it was nerfs. Yeah, well, okay, they say it's a nerf, but yeah, so his EAD scaling is increased, so his E is actually better. They just changed the bonus AD ratio, nothing else. It's just a little bit stronger. But the missiles, the rocket damage is down flat damage, both the normal ones and the big one, and the AP ratio is down in both cases as well. So the missiles are not going to hurt as much as they did before, which is probably good because Corki was not good in like lower elo that much, I don't think, but as you climbed up, he became more and more problematic. But and you see him everywhere in pros now, so I'm totally glad about this. Now we won't see people be wanting Corki in China and Korea and Europe and stuff, just like not picking him that early. I don't know. I'm happy to see this. Are you guys happy to see Corki get knocked down a peg?
Yes.
Yep.
Honestly, it doesn't really matter to me.
Why doesn't it matter? I mean, like, you don't think that this is
I
like,
just,
you don't think this will change anything?
I mean, it'll probably shift him to his AD build, but I mean, don't his isn't his damage like 80% magic from his passive?
But it's because it converts his autos and other things into magic. So it's like, yeah. So the bait, like, but I think his passive just concerns his autos, I believe.
Is it?
I believe
I
it
don't know.
is.
I don't know.
I can look. Let me see. Or
Because like if it's, I mean, if 80% of all of his damage is magic, you just go AD builds now, and you're just gonna do more damage. Like you might have to run AP elsewhere, but you're gonna do more damage overall.
his passive, not the package, the other passive. Corki's basic attacks are modified to deal 80% magic, 80% of your AD in magic damage and 20% in physical damage.
So it's just auto attacks.
Just autos, yep, and anything that
Oh,
would
okay.
apply an auto. So not anything else. No, just the autos.
Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, but so that's why even with AD Corki, you're seeing them build Sork shoes or Void Staff sometimes as well, just because then you're making those autos go through harder. But yeah, I think this makes Corki much worse. But they said that he's been a quote unquote menace in pro play. So, yep. Cool. Elise. Sean, you want to take us through Elise?
Sure. Base health growth, and base armor increase. The human Q form damage increase.
You say
this
that
is
like
a
you're so
well-known
fluent with
thing.
Elise, right? Yeah.
No, Elise is actually one of like I know a lot of people have champions that they just kind of like mesh with their kit just naturally, and Elise is actually just like one of those for me. Like honestly, like my Elise is pretty good, even though I don't like the champion like thematically or whatever. Like Spider Lady, I don't like the playstyle either. I don't like how like early game focus she is, and if you don't like snowball early, she feels really bad late game. But I don't know. A lot of times I play Elise, I actually end up doing really well. But yeah, I mean, I don't see the champion at all anymore, so I'm sure she probably just needed nerfs. Like, I can't remember the last time I played against an Elise.
Yeah, she she wasn't horrible last patch apparently in Plat Plus, like 49% win rate, so probably pretty balanced. But Challenger last patch, 57% win rate. But still, like she's only good in as you go up because the game goes on longer, and then she falls off pretty hard. Like you were saying, if you don't get ahead, then she feels pretty rough. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't play
mean,
Elise
she's like
because
one
I
of like
hate
the
her.
best. Well, she's like gotta be one of the best turret diving junglers because of her repel, and that's like something that scales with the higher up you go to, where you have top laners actually building up waves and setting up dives and stuff like that. So she's really good for like plays like that, but you're not gonna see that lower elo.
Yeah, Kaib, John, any other thoughts on Elise?
I don't
Yeah.
really ever play her, honestly. I'm not very good at her.
I mean, I don't play her, but I definitely thought I would say she was on the weaker side. I mean, she's a champion that's super good early game, and you can set up like John was talking about, dives super early, which, like if you can play for a win con, and like just make the enemy like top or bot or wherever mid just cry pre-10. She's a really good champ at doing that, but she's very hard to carry with, I would say, because late game she's tough to play in team fights and stuff like that, and it becomes easier for people to deal with her later. But I don't know. I would like to just like give her a whirl and try to at least like learn her a little more. But I haven't seen her almost at all.
Yeah, I haven't either. Like in the last few patches, I'm just looking. I mean, right now her pick rate on this patch is 3.5. That's gonna go down. Like it hovers around like 1.8, 1.5 basically. So she's not in a ton of games, but that pick rate's up so far. So people are trying her out. So yeah.
Yeah. Other than I've had her on my team like a few times. One of my friends plays her. Is good at her, but other than that, no, I haven't seen her like in solo queue or really just in normal games in general.
I haven't seen her. I haven't seen her at all this season by teammates or enemies at all. Yeah. Yep. Okay, Evelyn. I should probably pick back up Evelyn. I used to play her a lot, but so her passive heal increase, her W, the magic resist reduction. So when you fully proc the charm, you reduce a % of the enemy's magic resist. That's up. It's actually up. Like it was 35% when you max it. Now it's 45, which is kind of crazy. I actually didn't realize the level scaling. The old rank 5 is now the new rank 1. That's insane. Wow. So level 3, if she charms you, she's shredding 35% of your magic resist. I can say level 3
Dang.
because she doesn't take it until level 3 or maybe level 2, depending on what camps you're trying to clear in order. But yeah, which is pretty crazy. And then now when you use R, it puts your passive, the Demon Shade, when you go invisible, and then when you start to heal as well out of combat, on a 1.25 second cooldown rather than the normal 4-second cooldown, which is fine. A nice quality of life buff. I don't think it really does all that much, though. It's not going to make her crazy, but these are solid. I think the first two, the self-heal at low health, the passive buff, and the ult one, are placebo changes. That W change, though, that's real. That magic resist shred is nasty.
I feel like the Demon Shade on a 1.125 second cooldown rather than 4 that can be big too, because like you can just ult and then be out of vision. Like when you're trying to like get away as a low health Evelyn, I feel like that makes a 3.75 second difference. That can make a difference.
Sure, yeah, I
Like,
guess I didn't
for
think
getting
about.
out of stuff. If you're trying to like just kill someone and then get out really fast and you're really low, you can just like get back into your cloak, your Demon Shade, really quick if you're out of vision.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that much. And then if you're at lower health, and then that does allow you, to go into a fight, take damage, use your ult, and then almost immediately be healing, because when you're in Demon Shade, you're healing, and the amount you heal scales with your level as well as your AP as well. So you can heal up your full health bar mid to late game. It's kind of nuts.
Yeah. So I mean that I haven't seen her almost at all, so she probably needed buffs. Like I've barely seen people play her.
I've seen her, but I also, like, if you know what you're doing, you can kind of stop her from doing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, last patch she was a 48, low 48% win rate. 12-11, 49% win rate. 12-10, 48. So far on this patch, she has double the pick rate, so people don't know what they're doing with her yet, and she has a 47% win rate. But once the people who are casual Evelyn players stop, then the win rate will go up, almost definitely. So we'll see. Kaib, do you ever play Evelyn at all?
I did when I first started playing the game, but that was one of the, like, when I first started, I didn't really mesh with some of the assassin characters.
Sure.
Just kind of tended to bruisers, and then like once I started to expand into more assassin-y type characters, I just never really tried to pick her back up. I think she's fun. I haven't really played that much of her, so don't really have an opinion on it. I hate playing against her, but I also hate playing against anything that's invisible.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Next one. I'm so excited for this. I mentioned this earlier. The Fiddlesticks change. So Fiddlesticks, I think. So both of these are big, but the fear duration is going up by 0.25 seconds at all ranks. So now the minimum is 1.25 and it goes up to 2.25, which is pretty big. And then because that's his second max generally. You could maybe max E second, but generally you want to go Q second. But then the Crow Storm, the R damage, so the flat damage is going up by 125 at every rank flat, and that's over the duration of the ult, I believe. And then the AP ratio is going up by 25 percentage points. So now it's 250% of your AP. 250. I don't know of any AP ratio that's that high in the game. That's insane. Are you guys going to be picking up Fiddlesticks then to abuse it?
I might
wanna know what
play some
Riot-
Fiddlesticks.
I want to know why Ryder is playing Fiddlesticks for them to give him this many buffs. Like the champion hasn't been bad. He's been good for so long, and now they're just buffing him again. I don't understand it at all.
He's been great since he came out. People just stopped playing him because he's like a very different style jungler. But like I mean, so to put it in perspective, last patch 49.2 the previous patch, 50 with like a 2.5% pick rate. Right now, the pick rate is doubled. It's almost at 5, and he has a 52% win rate. He's the third best jungler right now. Like I'm not even shocked. It's just disgusting. He shouldn't have gotten buffed this much. I don't think he needed buffs at all. He's probably going to get hot fixes if I had to guess. But if you're playing him, please just go first strike. You get so much extra gold, and it's disgusting. Just it's so good. Please, if you want free load, play Fiddlesticks right now. I don't know. Maybe I'm blowing these changes out of the water. I think that they're actually as impactful as I'm saying that they are, but maybe not. I don't know.
No, I mean 0.25 seconds of CC is quite a bit. I mean, we talked about that with Seraphine. Now Seraphine's like out of control, and they added like 0.5 to her E or whatever, and now it's 0.25 to his Q, which already is like a notoriously annoying ability to deal with, just a point and click fear. So like,
well, that's
yeah,
also
getting
and
that
that's
for free
also
is
the
crazy.
that's also the duration when you hit someone, and you don't even have to hit them with your Q to fear them. It's if you're out of combat and you deal any damage to enemies when you're in Fog of War, it will also do that. Like it's nuts. So when you're getting a 5-man ult or something, instead of at level 6, you're talking about a 1 second fear. Now you're talking 1.25, but you're talking over 2 seconds now when you're at level 13. That's insane. It's just nuts.
I don't know. He's pretty gross. He also clears really well. You can double camp pretty much everything in the jungle with him. Level 1. Like, yeah, I mean, the champion's just good right now.
Yeah. John, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, he's a champ that he's like a little more nuanced, but like if you can get his clear down, like to do it like really well is technically difficult, but if you can get it down, it's so good. I mean, you can just he's a really good champ where you can just like rinse your jungle really quick, and then make a play with your ult, reset, and then just repeat the process.
Yeah, basically, yeah, you don't want to be doing anything until your ult's up, and then when your ult's up, you want to just be looking to punish over aggression or gank someone. Because then you also once you learn all the little pockets of vision that you can hang on, the little edges that are poorly coded on the map, it's really fun. One of my favorite ones is just like if you're in mid lane, and then even if the wave's there, like if it's in the middle of the lane, you walk behind one of the little side walls where there's that brush. You don't even need to go in the brush, but like behind one of those, you just pop around, and then you're immediately out of vision, and then you could start to channel it and then just land on them. When they're right in the middle of the lane, they're like, oh, I just saw him 2 seconds ago. Boom, you're feared, and then you make sure that you hit them with a Q for damage, and then you silence on top so then they can't move anything again. It's fucking gross.
Yeah, I guess to the end of what Sean was saying, like I'm a little confused why they're buffing him too, because he's like, in my eyes, like a champ that's like a little like he's meta agnostic. Like it doesn't really matter what the meta is. Like he's just gonna do his thing. Like he's just gonna farm really well, use his ult to just do disgusting things in team fights. Like you control vision, and just he's really hard to deal with if you can play him really well. And I think that's like doesn't matter what the meta is. He's still gonna do his thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, I mean, pre-durability update, he was doing better, but once the durability update hit, they buffed him right before the durability update, and then buffed him again. Well, they actually didn't buff him. He didn't get hurt by the durability update because of his numbers. Remember, they reduced everyone's healing once it hit, but they reduced it, and then they put his back, so they actually didn't change him at all, which was just nuts. So I don't know. I could keep going on about Fiddlesticks forever, but yeah, very meta agnostic. And if you're playing against him, pray that you draft some abilities that grant you vision of areas. You have some long range areas to poke brushes or random spots on walls. But yeah, the biggest thing that I've found that I've started to play around with is if you don't move for like 2 seconds, if you just hit S, you turn into one of your effigies, and then if someone walks next to an effigy, it's pretty you see the Fiddlesticks' health bar. it's pretty normal to like see one of them flash or use their ultimate or something. So then if someone walks near it, then you just ult and they think you're an effigy and you ult right on top of yourself, and then all of a sudden then you can use your fear and your silence and stuff. I did it in a game yesterday actually. It was hilarious. But yeah.
Yeah, it's something like you read that in the passive. I don't think I've ever seen anyone actually utilize that in game or tried it myself, but it is like an interesting part of his kit. He can just kind of stand still and look like an effigy.
There's a Wood Division video where it's great. One of the clips that someone submitted was on ARAM. Someone put a bunch of effigies in a corner, and the other team just walked by and they didn't care. And then one of them was a real Fiddlesticks, and then he just once they walked by, he walked over and ended the game with an open Nexus. It was it was hilarious. I don't know why you wouldn't kill them. You get like 3 gold for killing them. But anyways, okay. Next one, Galio Kaib. You want to cover him?
Let's do it. So Galio's just having his Q damage increased. I take it Sean just watched what I sent to our server because we're both laughing at the same time now.
I was laughing because you're like, "Let's do it," and it's just like this tiny little buff. Let's do it.
Well, okay. Well, you'll get the same reaction out of what I just sent you. So, okay, so yeah, his Q damage is being increased. The tornado damage per tick is going from 2% to 2.5% plus 1% per 100 AP of the target's maximum health. And the tornado max damage over 5 seconds is going from 8% to 10% of the target's maximum health. So, maybe some more AP builds on Galio. I don't know. I never really played him when I was fooling around mid that much, but I always just looked at him as a utility mid laner. CC, knock people down for your carry junglers.
Yeah, I think he definitely is very utility focused. I mean, obviously this doesn't change any of his utility; it just makes him stronger. So, but my thing is because he's still going to be good in mid. Like if you know what you're doing, this doesn't make him any worse. It makes him better. I don't think it makes him that much better. But does this make him more viable in support? I would say still no, but it doesn't hurt him anywhere. Do you ever want to jungle Galio with this now? The Q damage increase.
I have said for a long time that I think Galio would be a very fun jungler. So I might screw around and mess with it. I mean, hell, I played. Well, we've talked about it before. Brand Jungle. I finally played it. I played it yesterday. One game. 12-1 and 9.
It's good if you know what you're doing. Like you just need to get your full clear and then be able to land skill shots. It's good.
The first clear is rough, and I wasn't thinking about the fact that I was starting my blue side, so I started W.
Oh, don't do that. No, you start Q.
I think yeah, that's what I was playing with Nasasha, and he told me that I should have started QE since I was going blue gromp. But like I could see if you started like your wolves or your raptors, you could probably start W or E, honestly.
Right, but yeah, if you start one of those AoE camps, but no, not your E. You never start E because E doesn't. Oh, it does spread to a few near targets. They did change.
You need to stand in the middle of it and auto one pull them E and then start kiting.
Yeah, I'd say though.
But I would still say start W if you're gonna start one of those camps.
Right, you should start just with a leash though, because he does need a leash. You start Q and then go W afterwards, because then you're doing the extra damage to the ablaze target.
Yep.
And you just got to walk around and kite and stuff like that. It's until you hit level 3, it's not great, but once you hit level 3, totally golden. You're not worried about anything really.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Who knows? Maybe. I mean, I don't think that this will like put Galio into jungle contention or anything, but I think it could be fun.
Yeah, you just take Predator. You do a 3 camp clear recall with boots, and then you just run right into a lane or something.
You could honestly start your I guess either side, considering its Q is such a good AoE. I mean, you could start either side, go 3 camp and then back. So
yeah. Yep. So okay. Anyone else got thoughts on Galio at all? Nope.
No.
Cool.
I mean,
No, that's fine. What were you gonna say?
no. I mean, there's not much. I mean, it's small change.
Sure. So, okay. Gwen then. Kaib, I know you like Gwen a lot. Why don't you take us through her as well then? I didn't plan these very well in order, but I realize that. But go ahead and talk some more.
This is the one that's aimed at pro play because she's
Yeah.
like when they mess with her and her numbers, she either becomes useless as hell or completely busted. So they tried to change it some where that wouldn't happen when they mess with her numbers. So her health regen growth is going from 0.55 to 0.9 every 5 seconds. Her passive, 1,000 cuts. The maximum damage against monsters has gone down from 10 plus 15% to 6 plus 10%. The snip. So they
raised the base damage.
yeah, they raised the base damage per snip, they increased the final snip damage.
base
center snip,
and the AP ratio as well.
yeah,
on the
and
final
the AP.
snip. Yeah.
The center snip has gone from 100% true damage to 75% true damage. And then there's 2 new parts with her Q's passive, so it now deals 75 damage against minions with more than 20% health. And then minions below 20% health now take 1,000 bonus damage instead. Okay. The W Hallowed Mist, her bonus armor and MR is being increased, as well as the AP ratio at all levels, but the duration is going down from 5 to 4. It's very, very needed. The E skip and slash, the bonus magic damage is going from 10 plus 15% up to 15 plus 20% AP. The bonus range 50 to 75. And then the cooldown is staying the same early, but going up late. So it was 13 scaling down to 9. Now it's 13 scaling down to 11. And then the cooldown refunded on the first basic attack was 50%. Now it's 25 scaling up to 65%. So weak early, stronger late. And then her R needlework, the damage is being increased at all ranks, as well as the AP ratio from 8 to 10. And then instead of her R has three shots. You hit R for the first time, then you would hit a champion or a minion or something. You could hit it again. They changed that. Now it's just you can recast it after 1 second has gone by. So cast the first, wait a second, cast the second, same thing. So I don't really know how to feel about this, other than the fact that it's a jungle nerf for sure.
Yeah, here's my take on it all. So it's clearly a jungle nerf with the passive against monsters getting gutted. Her health regen is up. Okay, sure. So she already had a good amount of sustain in lane, so now she has a little more sustain. Okay, fine. Her Q does more damage when you're not hitting the center. But now when you're hitting the center, you're not getting as much true damage. I think that's actually a nerf. Well, it's a nerf for good Gwen players. It's not a nerf for bad Gwen players, because now bad Gwen players aren't hitting the center. They're still getting the bonus damage. They're getting more damage than they had before. So fine. And then it helps you clear waves more too, which that helps early Gwen, and that helps people who aren't able. It helps lower tier Gwens. It just does. W, then I think that this W is actually better for lower elo as well, but much worse for higher, because for waiting out at 1 extra second, or waiting 1 less second to be able to attack her or throw stuff at her in her Hallowed Mist, not that big of a deal. In pro play team fights, they can just or they can just dodge around it or something for 1 extra second, then okay, or for 1 less second, then they can go. That's a pretty big difference. But when you're in lower elo, then people are not going to necessarily recognize it. They're just going to try and run into her anyways. So there's that. And then her E, yes, the range is up. Yes, the damage is up. The cooldown is up though, and the cooldown refund is not as good. So honestly, I think that you need to. Maybe Q's not her first max anymore, because this actually this is a big deal, this E change. Yes, she has more range. It's back up to what it was when they nerfed it, but Christ, I don't know, because the cooldown refund that was central to her early duels. Now she doesn't have that. She's going to be even worse early. And sure, her R damage is up, but not, if you missed it, then you couldn't use it again. This is now taking that part away is now rewarding again bad Gwen players. So like good Gwen players, this change here doesn't change anything. It just gives them more buffs, but it rewards bad Gwen players. Overall, I don't like their direction because they've lowered the skill floor significantly, I think, with Gwen. And she was already pretty mechanically simple. I don't love it.
Good thing I'm looking to move to top lane.
Yeah, I don't love it. John, what do you think? I mean, there's a lot of changes here, but like, what do you think? Is it a net buff, net nerf? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it makes it like a little more accessible for like lower levels of play. Cause yeah, like you were saying, like she's pretty insane in pro play. Whenever she's like a little strong, she's very oppressive. Um, yeah, I mean I agree. It's like I don't know. I thought that looks like they're moving away from the Gwen jungle as well. I mean I thought that was kind of fun, but I mean I get why they're trying to make that not so much a thing.
Yeah, then they have to balance around her in 2 roles, and it's harder for the balance team for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean, anything extra to add?
No, not really.
Okay, so
I like the champion
you
a
agree with
lot,
everything I say
so
implicitly. Got it.
I hope it's overall a nerf.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. I've talked about Gwen a bunch of times on the podcast. I'd never learned how to play around her right in top lane. I just feel like I get dumpstered every time I play against her. So, like, a nerf her, I guess. I think overall this is a nerf, so I'm a little happy with it.
Let's see what the stats say. So, Gwen, right now, Plat Plus, 51% win rate. Jesus. Last patch, 45. Okay. Her pick rate is doubled, but we're also in a small sample size right now. Okay, it's a tenth of the sample size of last patch. She wasn't played that much before, so I don't know. Very interesting. Gwen jungle now though is significantly worse. Interesting. Maybe this is a buff for lower play, that's what we all thought. Overall, 51% win rate. If we look in like iron, she's got a 52, bronze, she's got a 50, 52 in silver, in plat, 51, in masters, 55. Jesus. GM 55, challenger 49. Okay, that's weird. But yeah. Cool. Okay. John, you want to cover Karthus for us?
Yeah, sure. So their base armor and health growth increased. So they're just bumping those numbers up a little bit. Base armor is from 18 to 21, and the health growth is 101 to 110. I don't know. I mean, I thought he was fine. I mean, he kind of just does his thing. Similar to Fiddlesticks, he's like just rinsing his jungle and then ulting, ganking from half the map away.
Yeah.
It's gonna make him a little tankier and stuff.
His stats are up in jungle. He's up by like 1% in win rate or so. Karthus mid is up a bunch from before because it's actually like that's a big deal. Bot lane, which is arguably his best role. He went up 3 percentage points so far in bot lane. Jesus.
Yeah, which he's annoying to play against in bot lane for sure. Spamming his Q.
Yeah. Yep. Sean, you picked up Karthus for a bit, didn't you?
Yeah, when it was like popular for a while. I mean, I guess it is still kind of popular, but I haven't been seeing it as much. But yeah, I mean, just making him take here obviously just helps him. It's like tiny little buffs, but I never really understood that because he was seeing it a ton of play before the durability update, and then like afterwards it seemed like he like fell off, which with like a scaling champion like Karthus, you would have thought he would have actually went up, but for whatever reason, his win rate went down, and I didn't really understand that, but I understand the little buffs because his win rate had went down.
Yeah, I don't know either, but he now has 153 more health at level 18 by the health growth buff, so that's interesting. But yeah. So, okay, next one. Sean, you want to cover Kled for us?
Sure, just increasing the scaling on his Q and the cooldown on his W is being decreased. So, I mean, the Riot's little blurb just says they're trying to make him better late game, which like Kled is kind of notorious for being one of like the worst scaling champions in the game because he's basically all single target damage. So I mean, the W cooldown at max rank is 5 seconds now, and you don't build attack speed on Kled, so it's gonna basically almost always be up. I mean, it was 6 before, and when W's max, it is up quite a bit. But I mean, I like it personally. I play a little bit of Kled, and I guess I don't have a ton to say about it. He does feel bad. Like if you don't your lane and you get behind a lane, you feel almost completely useless. Like the like strength of the champion is to get your reset in a fight. Yeah, you got to kind of plan around like when you're gonna dismount and how you're gonna reset. But if you get behind on Kled, you're basically just gonna dismount and die instantly. So it doesn't really help his like durability at all. But I guess like if you can get on their back lane and kill them faster, I guess that helps the durability. I'm not really sure.
His win rate is up almost a full percentage point, so it looks like they've realized the small buffs they're looking for. But yeah, I don't play Kled much because I don't quite. There's a lot of math behind what items you should and shouldn't be building generally, and understanding how his passive works, like with which health pool works well, because you have Skarl's health pool and you have Kled's health pool specifically works well with which items. So I don't know, it's just something that I haven't gotten into. Plus, he's also terrible in jungle. I just looked like his jungle win rate is like 25%, so not something I'd really pick up all that much. But I think it'd be cool if they could make him jungle. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, he'd probably have good ganks with his R, I guess. But there's like one like challenger Kled one trick. I tune into a stream once in a while named Soul Mario. He's pretty. I mean, he's really good at Kled, and he's always building lethality on Kled, which I never really understand. He does some wacky ass builds, but I guess that's like most challenger one tricks. They'll have a ton of different builds for each kind of situation. So I guess I don't fully understand it, but he must like see something in that situation to build it.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah. Any other thoughts, guys, on Kled, or should I move on to El Master Yi? That's the Spanish word for Master Yi. It's probably not, but Kaib, you're muted. I saw you.
Let's move up to Riot's fuck up.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, I feel like you need to bring us through then with your with that segue.
No, I don't want to. I hate this champion so much. You take it.
Okay, I'll take it. So Master Yi, attack range up by 50. Already pretty big. Then his Q. Now he can choose where he can like choose the direction that he hops off the target after he Qs. And then now also his W has been changed. It was like it's a crazy cooldown change. It was 28, now it's 9. And then his mana cost also used to be a flat 50. Now it's 40 plus 6% of your mana per second. So you can continue. It just like the longer you're doing it, it's going to really drain your mana pool. And now you also, as soon as you cast it for the first half a second of your meditate, you get 90% damage reduction. Was before it was you get the same damage reduction across the entire time you use it. It didn't matter what was hitting you or anything. It was just the same amount of time. But you also now get this. You also now get the lingering damage reduction for when meditate ends for half a second after meditate ends. Yep. So overall, meditate has a lot more skill expression now. It actually has skill expression. and then his Q also has some of that, and his attack range is up. So no damage increases, no attack speed, no move speed stuff, but attack range is huge. And then the Q being able to move, like I've seen videos when this was on the PBE, you can actually choose where you want your Q to go, and you can go over a wall if that person's close enough to a wall. So you can do some really funky stuff with it. His win rate is very high right now, so I imagine that these buffs were a little heavy-handed, but I don't know. I didn't think these would be that bad. So, Kaib, why do you think that this is Riot's biggest mistake of the patch?
Because its win rate went from like 46 to 57 in a matter of hours.
Yeah, his win rate right now is 54 plat plus, and his win rate last patch was 46. Yeah, so that's an 7% net increase. That's crazy. Have any of
The
you guys
attack
been
range is
on?
kind of busted. So
Have any of you guys been on, and have you played as Yi or against Yi? Have you seen him so far?
Yeah, I played a game today as Master Yi. I just tried like a normal game, see what it was like, and yeah, it feels pretty strong. Like, I mean, I ended up getting like a triple kill, I think, at like the second drag, and then like another triple or quadra at Rift, and then it was just like, I mean, impossible for the enemy team to play the game.
Gotcha. Nice. Well done. But yeah, okay. Attack range, good when it gets buffed, bad when it gets nerfed. Shocking.
The other thing I guess that's like worth mentioning is like combined with the attack range like change. Yeah, if you go lethal tempo on him and get the full stacks on lethal tempo, that increases your range too. So it's like, I mean, it's super easy to run people down with that combo.
Yeah, that makes sense. Your attack range is almost probably going up to like 300 or so.
Yeah, it's pretty nutty.
That's a little bit shorter than Lilia's auto range, and Lilia I think is 375 or 350 or so. Yeah, that's a pretty large attack range then. Jesus. So okay, get some freelo with Master Yi while you can. Next then we have Olaf. I'll just run through this. So Olaf, base health gen and health regen growth being decreased. So they want him to heal a little bit less passively just by doing nothing. Or just by existing. Then his passive attack speed is up early. It still is the same late. And his Q mana cost is up by 10. So overall, this is a nerf to lane Olaf, but is a buff to, I'd say it's a neutral or maybe a tiny buff to jungle Olaf. That's what they're trying to go for. They're trying to help him be more powerful in the jungle. This is not going to make me play Olaf, though, I will say. I don't like Olaf anyways, but this is not going to make me play Olaf. I don't know. Is this going to make any of you guys go and play Olaf? Do you think that this is accomplishing what they're wanting to make him more powerful in the jungle?
I like Olaf jungle. I like it especially with there being more enablers in mid lane right now. And one of the guys on the competitive team that I play on plays a lot of enabling champions with a lot of CC, a lot of slows, or he plays like Seraphine, stuff like that. So I could see Olaf being pretty good with stuff like that. I don't know if I'll play it a bunch in solo queue, but I mean, I'll try it. Like, I don't know. I haven't experienced it yet, so I can't really say if it's like broken or anything. I don't think it's gonna be.
Sean, John, either of you two guys got any thoughts?
No, not really. I mean, he's been disgusting top forever, and he's just like, I feel like he's just like an unappealing champion to a lot of people because he was like one of the best top laners and nobody was playing him still from what I saw. So like, I mean, he definitely needed to be nerfed, but like I said, like I still wasn't really seeing it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've played him a little bit. I mean, I'd definitely give it a whirl. But yeah, I mean, I just didn't like when. I'm glad that they tried to move him or like nerfed top Olaf a little bit because when that was really strong, it was super impressive. But I don't know. I mean, I'll give it a go, see how it feels. But I don't know.
Gotcha.
I think that I have on jungle, but I don't see. There's no reason not to try it.
Cool. Well, that was Olaf, and then this next change is the biggest buff of the patch. Renekton's are now scales with AD. You get the damage per tick is up. It now has a 10% bonus AD ratio. Whoa, that is something, and it doesn't. I don't know. That doesn't do anything. I don't think. Like, it doesn't make Renekton good. It makes him okay. Maybe do a little bit more damage, but he's not good because of the damage in that cloud around his aura. That's not what would make him be better. It's the rest of whatever Renekton's got going on. I don't think that this does anything. It's a placebo buff saying like, hey, we know that Renekton gets a lot of shit in pro play, but he's still a champion. Go try him. That's what I read this change as.
Yeah, I mean it's just like free extra damage. Like the blurb says it's similar to like the Kled change where like Renekton notoriously scales very badly. So like trying to help out his mid and late game now. But like you said, it's so small. Like 10% AD is very, very tiny.
Yeah. And it is damage per tick to be noted. So then, and there's lots of ticks. I don't know if that's every second he does damage or every like quarter second or every half second. I don't know how often the ticks are, but this is just, it's not amounting to a lot of damage. So I don't know. If it were maybe like 30 or 40% bonus AD, that's maybe something to look at. But that's still with one AD item when he's at his strongest on one item or 1.5 items. You're not talking about a lot of bonus AD. We're talking like 70, maybe 100. So you're talking 7 or 10 extra damage per tick. That does something, but it's not doing a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just a little nudge reminder that he's a champion.
Yeah. Which is surprising because his pick rate is actually not terrible. Like in the last patch, it's like a 3% pick rate. There's lots of champions with much lower pick rates that deserve love, but yeah. So okay, well, that's Renekton. Talia is getting more changes. I feel like every patch we get, there's like a page and a half or at least one page of Talia changes. I don't know. Like I'm getting tired of reading Talia changes. So Sean, you read them instead. I don't want to read them.
Cube damage increased, mana cost decreased, bonus damage to monsters decreased, boulders now stun jungle monsters, are adjusted. Our Weaver's Wall no longer goes on cooldown when Talia damages wards or traps.
I think it's pretty good.
I've also like played Talia like once, so I don't have any opinion on the champion really.
Sure. I'm just reading. Yeah, like that R change that Sean read through, that totally makes sense. The Q damage changes. They're giving her slightly more base damage, and they're adding when she throws out the big boulder from the empowered Q, then it stuns jungle monsters. Oh, for 3 seconds, Jesus! So you can hit that pretty often. Like you could probably not get hit by. You could kite out red buff or blue buff indefinitely with that. I think. That's pretty big. But other than that, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
I wasn't
this.
gonna go.
Yeah, it doesn't really change much of her laning, I don't think. This makes it maybe a little bit better to lane, but mostly like they're trying to push her into the jungle a bit more, it seems. Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems kind of weird because when they did the changes before, they kind of changed the spread of the rocks she lays out to be better for lane. Or at least that's what it looked like. And now they want to send her back to a jungle. I think a lot of people are just used to her being a jungler from like before that change. So now they're
I
trying
want her to be a jungler.
to...
I love Talia. I'm not very good at her, but she would be a champion that I would want to learn.
Why?
Jungle.
What about Talia appeals to you?
I think she's fun. I like the E and W mechanic.
Sure, that is pretty cool.
I just like her kit. I don't like. She's another one who has become one of my more favorite ARAM champions. So back to our question of the week. I like playing her in ARAM when I get the chance.
Because then you can throw her R and go through the entire map and backdoor. I get it, yes.
Oh, I don't even use it for that. I choose to get out of lane or get out of base quick.
You lazy dude. You don't have to click that many times to get out of base. You'll get there in time. But yeah.
I will say I had like one of like the goofiest interactions I've seen in League with Talia all, where I was playing Kled and I ulted like into somebody that was on the other side of Talia all, and like Kled all when it gets in range of somebody it locks onto them. So like it locked on the person on the other side of the Talia ult, and Kled like sprinted all the way around the Talia ult to get to them. It looked so goofy, but it was funny.
Like, how fast are we talking sprinting? Like, as fast as when he's at the apex of his ultimate?
Yeah, like
Wow.
super fast. It looked janky as hell, but it's pretty funny.
Jesus, that is pretty cool. Gotcha. Okay. So that's Talia. Now we have just a couple more champions and then a couple items. So we have Vex. John, I heard you talking before that you playing some Vex. So why don't you run us through this one?
Yeah, her Q cooldown is decreased at all ranks, and her AP ratio is increased. So it would just be nice for her laning, allow her to do Vex things a little better, bully a little more. I mean, I think Vex is a lot of fun. I played her a little bit. Whenever I get put mid lane, I'll probably give her a whirl again.
She's pretty simple, and she is a lot of fun. Like you're saying, like it's not a very creative kit, I don't think, and it's not something that's flashy, but it's reliable. Probably a pretty damn good autofill mid pick.
Yeah, and her ult's a lot of fun.
It is very cool. So one thing that when we were in community night last night, or maybe on when I was playing a game on Monday or something, there was someone played Vex and I didn't know. But when Vex throws her R, does it damage? Like he threw it through Baron because we wiped the team. But does it damage Baron and Dragon, or no? Does it just fly through them and not even damage them? Because I know it doesn't stop on them.
I think it does damage.
Okay, because I honestly don't know.
Or I don't know if it does damage or if it's like Jinx ult where there has to be like people nearby. It does like AoE damage.
I don't think it does AoE damage. I think it does damage to the thing it hits. Let me see. So I'm on her wiki now. And deals magic damage to enemies hit. It doesn't say in an AoE around. Yeah. Then hitting an enemy champion marking can be recast. It doesn't say anything about dealing magic damage to enemies hit. So it might actually do damage to minions and other things like that. I don't quite know. I don't see Vex very often, so I don't really know.
I'm just imagining it's like Jinzo, where it still damages the monster, but it doesn't stop unless it hits a champion.
Sure. That makes sense. We'll go with that. Cool. Okay. Kaib, you got any thoughts on Vex or no?
No. Excuse me. I think she has sucked since the durability patch, so I think this definitely helps her. I don't know if it's enough, honestly. But we'll see.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, someone who has not sucked since the durability patch is Volleybar. Do you want to take us through your favorite polar bear there, Kaib?
Do.
He's having a coughing fit right now. Hold on.
Sorry, I was dying.
It's all good.
Okay. So his Q bonus move speed has been decreased. It was 10 scaling to 26%. Now it's 8 scaling to 24. The damage was 20 scaling to 100. Now it's 10 scaling to 90. The 80 ratio has stayed the same. His W, the damage has gone down from 10 scaling to 110, plus 100% AD, plus 6% bonus health. Now it's 5 scaling to 105. Same AD ratio, but it's 5% bonus health. And then the E Sky Splitter, the damage has stayed the same, except... Wait, no. Yeah, it stayed the same except for the percentage of the target's maximum health. That was 11 scaling to 15. Now it's 9 scaling to 13. And then the damage cap against non-champions has gone from 750 down to 650. So when I read this, I pretty much took it as it was the nerf that needed to happen for Volleybar. You were able to build him tank, and he was still dealing a shit ton of damage. Way too much for a tank. Please do the same thing to Orn Riot. So like you could build either you don't really need Frostfire, but you could build Sunfire or Kim Tank, and then you could go into a Hydra. So just build a Titanic Hydra, and then just more tanky stuff. And because you have two abilities that scale with Volley's max health, you were still just pumping out a shit ton of damage, way too much for a tank. And so I don't think that this necessarily takes him out of the meta. I just don't think he'll be completely OP anymore. Because one of his biggest things was he could duel just about every single jungler at level 3 and win, unless they had ignite. Assuming he hits its E, right? And I don't think that will be the case anymore. I think he's going to be used solely as an engaged stun bot. He's not going to be able to get out the two-pronged of being tanky as well as dealing oddly amounts of damage. So I think it needed to happen, but I kind of hate it because he's one of my favorite junglers. Even before he became Giga Busted, he was one of my favorites. So
Yeah, he definitely giga busted, but his win rate has dropped by 3%. So I think that, like you're saying, these nerfs are making an impact. It's deserved. I didn't want to play him because he was too strong. I also found it difficult to play against him because it didn't even matter so much like if I was ahead or whatever. He could just kind of run at people and not take that much damage and kill him. He was doing too much damage for like he was just a burstier version of Mundo, and Mundo is but also lower econ because Mundo's kind of supposed to be like a heavy, like economically heavy sort of like juggernaut, and Volibear doesn't feel that way at all. Especially last patch, so he definitely needed some of the nerf hammer there. So I'm glad about that. But on another note, the Bouse's other champion that he picked up is now getting nerfed as well. So maybe he should pick up something that's like really weak and they might buff it. I don't know, but it's kind of funny that Scion was running all over the place because he made him popular, and then they gutted Scion, and now they're nerfing Volibear. I just think that's kind of funny myself.
I would say too, like people always forget that his ult shuts down turrets, and for a champion to be like this overstated and just like stat checky to also have the ability to just turn off your turret and just beat the shit out of you felt so bad. I can think of multiple times I played ranked and just got dove only because it was Volibear and he shut down my turret for like 2 seconds or whatever. And you just can't do anything about it. Like especially after he gets like chem tank, like he just sprints at you, shuts down your turret, you're just dead. Like you have no defense at that point. It felt so bad to play against.
Yeah, nowhere is safe.
Nowhere is safe at all. Yeah. So that's Volibear. So that is the last of the champion changes. There is a couple of nerfs to some items, which I'll just quickly run through. We have Divine Sunderer getting nerfed. It is it's getting changed a bit. Instead of doing like 12% of the target's maximum health if you're in melee form or 9% in ranged, now it's 6% and 3%, but plus 125% of your base AD. So they're changing the way the math works there, but it's probably a bit of a nerf, depending on some of the math there. But if you really want to see a mathematical breakdown, go ahead and go watch Freak's patch rundown, because he breaks it all down and tells you when it's sort of a nerf, when it's a buff, and all the changes that ever happen. So go check that out. But the heal also is down, but it has like 65% of pre-mitigation damage, and then as opposed to 50%. So they're making it but also giving it a base AD ratio. They're changing the way some of the math works there. The mythic bonus is now down. It was 5% magic and armor pen. Now it's 3% per item, so that's actually pretty impactful. And then that's actually it for Divine Sunderer. Then I'll just run through all these items and we can talk about what we think is significant and stuff. So then Demonic Embrace. The passive now stacks when applied by multiple users. So, however, one user cannot refresh another user's application of the passive. So it's same thing with Leandries. Now they're making them stack. So before this patch, if two people on your team had Leandries or Demonic and they were both hitting the same target, only one of them was actually doing damage. The other one, it was just going into the ether. It wasn't actually doing anything. So now the damage will stack for more than two targets. So because before, if you had one, you had to plan out, okay, only one Leandry user on our team because otherwise you're wasting the item. It didn't make sense. Now this is a buff to ARAM because a lot of people like to build burn items in ARAM. So then those are available there. Now then Duskblade is getting its mythic bonus for legendary items changed. So it was 5 ability haste, now it's 5 ability haste and 5 movement speed. Prowler's Claw getting its was 5 lethality and now it's 5 lethality and 5 movement speed. And then Eclipse is also getting the same thing. It was 4% armor pen and now it's 4% armor pen plus 5 move speed. But they're also thinking that this is going to be big now. Lethality 80 carries are going to get stronger. So preemptively, they're nerfing the ranged damage proc on Eclipse. It was 6% of max health, now it's 3%. So they're making the item weaker because they know the mythic passives are all stronger. They're worried about that. But okay, that's all those items. John, I'll go to you first. What do you think is what are the winners here and what are the losers? What do you think of these item changes here?
I think the Divine Sunderer one's probably good. Like, I feel like it'll affect champs like Wukong was kind of a terror in jungle, so that's I think a bit of a nerf to him indirectly. I think pretty much everyone who like went this item probably would agree that it was pretty strong. I know as far as like for a while pre this change, in some situations like when you go like Bruise or Rengar, Divine Sunderer is definitely pretty good against a tanky team. So I mean it's a nerf to stuff like that. I think the Demonic Embrace, like, I don't know, Demonic and Leandries are just kind of annoying items to me a little bit. So, I mean, I get that for ARAM, but I think sometimes that'll be annoying because those are also like pretty popular items. So, I'll be interested to see how that all plays out because like for champs that can proc that from really far away, like Seraphine, someone I can think of who takes injuries. I don't know. We'll see. I mean and then as far as the I think the range damage on the Eclipse needed to happen, but I don't know. I like that there's a little bit of move speed for those items too. That's a good stat for assassins. So I think that's always a nice thing to have, but also like taking away the oppressive, like lethality ADC stuff.
Yeah, I think not right on the nose there. Totally agree. Sean, Kaib, thoughts?
I want to know what it does to bruisers with the Sunder.
Yeah, I don't know how
That's
the math.
really the
I
only
don't,
question I have. Does it shift a bunch of them to Triforce unless it's a tank heavy team, in which case you want the Sunder, obviously. Or can you just go? Would you still go Triforce and then just go Cleaver then? So I don't know. I'm interested to see the Sunder for sure. How the bruisers will work with Triforce and Sunder, and then for the lethality stuff specifically, since I've been spamming a lot of Rek'Sai, I think the 5 move speed. It's I don't think it's anything crazy, but it'll definitely be nice to have. So we'll see.
I think this definitely also incentivizes, now that you're saying the move speed's pretty impactful, building like a lethality item on champs that like non-traditionally wouldn't build that necessarily. So like going lethality Ezreal, or even if you don't build lethality and other stuff, but then you build one of these lethality mythics, it's gonna make them so much more slippery. Like for those ranged characters, it's gonna make them so much more slippery as well.
I will say, so kind of back to bruisers, and I'll specifically say Vi. I don't think that I will be going Triforce on Vi. I think it'll just switch to Eclipse if I don't need the Sunderer, because the move speed on her will actually be very beneficial.
Sure, totally makes sense. Her win rate right now, it actually went down in the last patch, it looks like, negligibly, but people are still playing Sunderer in most of the matches. So, yep.
The only thing I say about it is like I'm wondering if Graves is gonna all of a sudden start going Prowler's Claw instead of Eclipse, because that does seem like a range damage prog going down to 3 from 6. Seems like a big nerf for Graves. I know there are some ADs that still go lethality too, like Draven, but like this, I don't know. It seems to hit Graves like the hardest to me.
Gotcha.
And I could definitely see Prowler's Claw in, and just like get like the close range autos on Graves. Doesn't seem half bad, and you're already going lethality anyways.
John, you play Graves. What do you think of that idea?
I think that would be so like if they have a squishy team comp and you're going Dark Harvest already, because I've seen that like, I mean it's always been a thing, but I've seen it like pop up more recently, like a little bit more Dark Harvest as opposed to Fleet. I mean I think that could definitely work. Like that would be super nice into a squishy enemy team that has some mobility, because then you could just use Prowlers to stick on them, and then that with your E, it's just like that. That's not. It's like it'd be pretty impressive. Like it definitely could work.
Cool. Well, look out for Prowler's Claw Graves on a rift near you. Or just
Yeah.
ban it like I do, because then I don't have to face it. So,
But yeah, the Eclipse though, yeah, that is a nerfed Eclipse. He was a huge builder and abuser of Eclipse, so that definitely hurts him there a little bit. But he'll probably, I'm sure people will still build it.
gotcha. Well, after that, there's just a couple of changes to some system stuff. There's objective bounty changes. They made some changes to it. So bounty linger duration is now 60 seconds as opposed to 5 seconds. They're making the duration before it falls off longer, but they're making bounties start to fall off a little earlier when the losing team reduces the lead. Then claiming an objective bounty as bounties are lingering now cancels all other objective bounties on the map until they're reactivated due to a large lead, so it temporarily shuts it off, it looks like, and then might turn it back on. Then champions with gold accumulating passives such as Draven or Gangplank and runes like Treasure Hunter no longer count towards your team's total gold when calculating bounties. That seems nuts, because then it just incentivizes you. If you're trying to, exploit objective bounties with some of the support stuff, you could then just take Treasure Hunter, and it won't calculate that, so you'll be more likely to get it. And then the way dragons and towers are weighted when calculated for bounties has been updated to be more in line with the player expectations. So they're adjusting that to, yeah. There's that, and then one thing with vision, all jungle monsters and wards will now be visible instantly, even upon dashing or blinking into visible range. So there used to be a slight delay, but now that's gone. And Ultimate Spellbook is back too. So yeah, thoughts on objective bounties? I don't think it'll really change all that much. It just changes the way they work a little bit, but people won't notice that much of a difference, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it's overall good changes.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. And then we have, Ultimate Spellbook is back. I'm very excited. and now there's another Clash coming out, and there's a bunch of bug fixes, and we were talking about these beforehand. And John, you mentioned a couple. Do you want to go through whichever the ones you thought were important?
Yeah, sure. The one that like kind of stuck out to me was it was about with Kane. Fix a bug where Kane would gain transformation progress from first strike's bonus damage. So that like whenever first strike came out, like that was a big thing with Kane for blue Kane was it was super good because you could get your form faster because it would go towards your progress for your form, like the extra first strike damage. So that's like it's definitely a bug fix that's kind of a nerf to his blue form for sure. Let's see. Then the other one, there was one, yeah, where Siver's W would do 0 damage to Zyra plants. Just thought that was kind of funny.
Yep. And then as I'm just looking, I see another one. Fix a bug where Bel'Veth's void corals could form inside of Mordekaiser's R if an enemy was killed outside within the same geographic area on the map, that's pretty big because they're supposed to be separate spots. So if that was not working correctly, then now it is. And then, also fix a bug. The Maokai one we were talking about. Fix a bug where Maokai's
yeah.
E saplings toss. The saplings would do damage through spell shields, so they weren't being destroyed like how spell shields should be working. That's important. So that's actually a really good change. Other than that, there's a lot of other changes. Not a lot of them we think are all that important, but yep, so there's that. So go ahead and look at all those if you want all of them. The Star Guardian skins look pretty cool. I'm excited to maybe get Star Nemesis Fiddlesticks. We'll see. I don't know the price of it when it comes out, but it looks pretty cool. But the Star Guardian skins in general look cool, and I'm excited about the Star Guardian event whenever they finally tell us what all is going to be involved in that. I think it's like another 12 hours or maybe one more day before. But yeah, so cool. TLDR, lots of changes, and listen to the rest of the episode. That's what the TLDR is. So, yep. Anything? Any last thoughts on the patch overall before we head out, guys?
I don't have anything.
I love League.
Sean's just chuckling silently, so he doesn't have anything else to add to. Nice. Well, with that, we will wrap up. This has been episode number 773 of the Trinity Force Podcast. If you have questions or suggestions, feel free to email us at questions@trinityforcepodcast.com. We're low on emails and would love the feedback on that. Please go into the Discord server, which can be found on our website, which is trinityforcepodcast.com, and go in there and join us for community game nights, which happen at 7:15 Eastern time, whether that's standard or daylight. Depends on the daylight savings for the next, year and a half before daylight savings is gone. But and then, join us there. It's a really good time on Tuesdays. It's 7:15 Eastern. And then community night. The question of the week, sorry. So go in there. We have a thread for the question of the week. Give us your feedback. We'd love to know what your favorite ARAM champion is and hear all your thoughts. And I will be judging some of you that put in answers that I don't approve of. But with that, thanks for listening. I guess I forgot to ask, do any of you, I know Sean, you don't stream. I don't think Kaib you do right now, or maybe you have a Twitch channel, but John, do you stream at all for anyone? Is there any place that people can go and check you out?
I do not right now.
Okay. Well, maybe something to look forward to in the future. Occasionally I stream on twitch.tv/NAEric, or maybe NA_Eric. I haven't looked at it in a while, actually. It's twitch.tv/NA_Eric, yes. So go ahead and check me out. I play League and some other games like that. But this has been episode 773. Thanks for listening, and have a good rest of your day.
Good night. I love you.
Bye.
Bye.